in this third video of our video series of working with xPath locators, we will describe the working with xPath locators with relationships. So far we have described relationships for xPath: following sibling, preceding sibling, child and parent. So following is we identify an element uniquely, and any element coming after that we can use following to get into that element. Following sibling is still we identify an element uniquely and some element coming after that, but that element should be sibling, same level. Then we can use following sibling to identify that element. And preceding is like we identify an element uniquely, and any element coming before that we can use preceding to identify that element. And preceding sibling is like we identify an element and some element coming after that at sibling level, we can use preceding sibling to identify that element. Child is like any element. We identify a parent uniquely, then we go into child using child. And parent is we identify a child uniquely, then we go to the parent using parent. So these things we described in the previous video. This one describe in this video we describe descendant and ancestor. So descendant is from the child we go into from parent to child level only, but using descendant we can go to child and grandchild level. Both levels we can use. For an example, here we use the field set tag to identify the field set, this one, and these are the child, one level, and two levels when it comes to it is grandchild. So we can use descendant li to get to the grandchild. Okay, so if it is child, it's only child level. Descendant, the grandchild, is you can go into the grandchild level as well. So similarly, ancestor is you can go to from parent, you can go to parent level, but ancestor means you can go to parent as well as grandparent level. Okay, so that's the difference between parent and grandparent. Okay, outpatient, and we go to the grandparent at form level. Okay, it identifies the form because it's the grandparent level. So in this working with xPath, we first start with working with writing xPaths. We use like with a known attribute how to write an xPath. The format will be / tag name and at the attribute and the value. For an example, this one input and its ID username, you can use / input at ID equals username, at type equals text, at name equals username, at placeholder equals enter username. Within single quote you can give. So that's how to write attribute and value. Similarly, we can use the contains keyword if you want to match a substring, and if you want to, you can use start with keyword to identify a string starts with some text. So that's like some regular expression. And when it returns multiple elements, rather than you getting to find elements and get to a list and get the element by the list items, you can use the index. Within square brackets, you can use index 1, the first element with index 1, second element with index 2. Directly you can get the elements with the index. That's one feature of xPath. And also you can combine the xPath values or the attribute values with O and logical parameters and uniquely identify elements. And also for the relationships, you can use following sibling, preceding sibling, child, parent, descendant and ancestor to from one element to navigate to relative to one element you can navigate to either parent, either child, or some element coming after this element, some element coming before this element, some element coming after but only a sibling, some element coming before but again a sibling, or a child or grandchild, or parent or grandparent. So just I will execute this script. And the playback will record for you, so you can just, when you go through the code, you can just have a look. So this is the first one, like with the attribute, it's type username by property, identify it, and this is the contains keyword, and it clicks this show password which it starts with Okay, so those are the contents it starts with, we are showing, and this is the index number. We just get from the contents, we got both, and we from the index we identify the username and password separately, and the O candidate and the logical operators we are showing here, and just login button we create, and this is the parent, the sibling, the relationships we are trying to show you. So these several relationships we described earlier. So those things we have described code, and we are replaying now, clicking outpatient clinic, and clicking certain buttons, and that's the playback is over. So this is how you write xPath. In various ways you can write xPath to identify elements. Thank you very much.